because something is on chain, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's ethically transparent. Very recently, I got scammed for around 300 SOL, right? Back in February.
I will publicly say this. Do not deal with or bank.
And my only concern is at the rate at which quantum computing is going, at the rate at which the quantum technology is improving, how sure are you that quantum computing cannot really break the cryptography behind Bitcoin? And there is no point in me voting because nothing's going to ever change.
Welcome back to the XDC India Podcast. I'm your host, Kishan Balaji. Today, we are diving into one of the most urgent conversations of our time. Privacy in the Web3 era. Decentralization promised autonomy and fairness, but as governments and corporations build ever-expanding data systems, we are beginning to see transparency used as a tool for control. To help unpack this, I'm joined by Mr. Mohit Baliga, founder of Decentralabs, hybrid growth operating agency catering to crypto traders and futures traders. Mohit, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Kishan. Thank you, XDC, for having me. Love this opportunity, especially the topic that we're talking about today.
So let's start from the top. When people in crypto circles talk about privacy, what do they actually mean? Is it about anonymity, data control, or freedom from oversight?
So firstly, let's start about what decentralization and privacy are in tandem to each other. Right? If you don't have decentralization without privacy, it's practically just another name for surveillance, right? And in this digital age, privacy is not really about secrecy. It's more about selective transparency and informed consent. Like I should get to choose where I'm revealing myself, right? Yeah. And to whom I'm revealing myself. That's the main foundation of Web3. That's the entire reason why it was built, right? And just because something is on chain, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's ethically transparent.
Yeah.
And especially if users are not able to figure out the traceability behind it.
True. That's a powerful point, Transparency without control quickly turns into exposure. Do you think most Web3 users realize how public their transactions really are?
Yeah, so this is a funny thing, in 2020 when the law was passed saying, I think 2020 or 2021, at least here in India, when the law was passed saying all private blockchains are banned and the entire crypto Web3 world in India went on a frenzy, right? Most of them seem to forget that they're talking about blockchains like Monero, like crypto like Monero, right? Which transaction IDs or anything cannot really be traced. At the same time, when you look at Bitcoin, when you look at Ethereum, if I've ever transacted with you even once, I can pull up your wallet address, I can go to the blockchain explorer and the entire paper trail is there. From the time you first bought crypto to the time, to the current moment where all your assets are being held in one wallet, right? Exactly. So that is what I really like about crypto. It's about how transparent it is. And when we talk about consensus, right, and privacy for that matter, it's about how I am able to verify, again, without having to show who I am.
True. I completely agree with that. That's an interesting take, Mohit, and I completely agree with you on that front. Moving on, let's talk about government data collection and overreach. Let's shift to the real world for a moment. Around the globe, governments are collecting vast amounts of data and identity details such as, biometrics, geolocation, and even communication metadata, all under the banner of efficiency or national security. And recently here in India, there's been quite a stir around reports suggesting that the finance ministry has proposed more aggressive data scrutiny measures to crack down on black money, including potential access to personal communications like emails, WhatsApp, and even social media activity. Now, regardless of whatever political, alignment, the idea that the state could mine private messages in the name of financial transparency raises profound ethical questions. Mohit, what's your take on such measures? Where does legitimate financial oversight end and privacy invasion begin?
there's a fine line between oversight and overreach, right? Oversight is supposed to be healthy. Oversight is to make sure that people aren't crossing lines that they're not supposed to cross. Overreach happens in cases like this, right? When we don't have any control over what is happening, what bills are being passed or what laws are being planned to take effect and everything. And at the same time, who is it really benefiting, right? You are saying like it's to see if you are money laundering, it's to avoid tax evasion. Okay, even if you're avoiding, even if everyone's paying up their taxes, what are we really getting in return for it? You're blanket banning every possible new emerging technology, right?
Exactly.
The infrastructure in our country is at an all-time low, but at the same time, the tax collected is at an all-time high. And to top it all off, you're just making it harder and harder for your own countrymen to potentially do something innovative or even make money investing in the markets so that you yourself get paid. And when we're talking about how the government now is, putting out this DPDP Act, which is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023, how sure are you that this is benefiting the common man, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in our country, we know what a well-oiled system that's running the country. See, practically speaking, if you are a tax-paying citizen, a law-abiding tax-paying citizen, unless you're doing some shady business, then you can't really say anything about the fact that they're peeping into your messages. Again, like I said, unless you're doing something shady.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the ones who are doing shady business, if you know who I'm talking about, it's going to backfire and bite them back in the ass.
Exactly.
Right? And finally, when we talk about what exactly is their exit plan, right? Like if they're the ones calling the shots, if they're the ones, planning to snoop into our private lives and have a look at whatever is happening behind the scene, who governs them, right?
Yeah.
Who's the one overseeing them? Who's the one who can tell them like, hey, this is enough? At this point, the freedom of speech or any amendment that supports the common man is being overseen.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Who's the one overlooking that? If they're the ones on top and they're the ones calling the shot, there's no difference between in this case, our democracy and a dictatorship.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Again, when we're talking about privacy, see, I'm a firm believer that when we talk about efficiency and when we talk about ease of convenience, right? Like just convenience, our life getting more convenient. Are you willing to trade privacy for a more convenient or a more efficient life? And most people don't realize this, but with each progressing day, you are doing that.
Exactly.
Right? Like for example, even if I don't type a certain keyword into my phone, even if I'm just talking to my peers about a certain thing without ever having spoken about it or anything, my phone will start recommending me these things, right? Like it will start showing me ads related to whatever I spoke about.
Yeah.
Right? It's already happening whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Right? But what's the fine line between, just giving us what we want and doing something that we're completely against? Because I'm sure all of us have like other personal things that we don't really want to share on our personal chat, on our email, right? And how sure, like money laundering and corruption have been there far before blockchain, crypto, and even internet came into existence. Right? You mean to tell me before 2009 people weren't doing money laundering? You mean to tell me people weren't doing other illicit activities with money and when there was no blockchain or Bitcoin involved? Right? So maybe this is just another tactic that they're enforcing so that they can snoop into our life. And at this point, it's not even a can. They want to do it. They want to keep us all under their thumb. And unfortunately, like it's something that we have to deal with unless we voice out our opinions, which unfortunately no one has the guts to do, right? Like both of us can be having this conversation right now talking about, oh shit, the government's doing all of this. Man, unless and until you voice out your opinion and you voice out your concerns, nothing's going to change, right? When I speak to people asking them like, what do you think about the current state of affairs or who are you going to vote for in this upcoming elections? Most of them just tell me the country is already in a messed up state and there is no point in me voting because nothing's going to ever change. That means you are the problem.
Exactly.
Right? There's a reason our country is a democracy. It's because you have been given the freedom to vote for the people you feel are representing you and your thoughts and your actions and your alignments, right? And if you think that even voting for them isn't going to change a thing, then I wonder where the problem's starting from. right? We're a country of over 1.8 billion people, right? And if you still think we can't outweigh or we can't overpower the current elected leaders, I'm not saying any political party, because every state is being ruled by a different, and in my opinion,
No,
a very
in general, I think the people who are running the country, let's just say that.
yeah. Again, like I would not want to take names because in certain places they've done really good, in certain places they're not up to the mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? See, if Nepal can bring down their government, which is such a small country, because everyone was so fed up about the corruption and the
And
rich just getting
censorship.
rich. Exactly, right? Like that was the last straw for them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the second, imagine how
Yeah.
what your priorities are. That like you're getting looted every day, you're not getting paid, there is no healthcare, there is nothing. But oh no, I can't sit and watch brain rot on my phone anymore. I can't send my friends reels anymore. That's why they went on a strike and that's why they brought down the government. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We all know what the priorities are, and good that at least that was a priority to make sure that.
Unfortunately, about more than 20 people, 20 kids died in the shooting, which, that took place. So, yeah, I mean, all respect goes out to them.
As unfortunate as it is, see, I'm somebody who always looks at the greater picture. They died martyrs, and may their souls rest in peace. And see, the cost of any good revolution will be lives lost, right?
Yeah.
And they did something. They were a part of that revolution. That I can call it, right? They were a part of it, and they laid down their lives for it. When we look back at our freedom struggles, we don't look back at Bhagat Singh or any of the freedom fighters and look at it in a way where, oh no, they were just killed because they tried to do something, right? They did something for the greater good, right? Those 20 people who passed away.
Talking about Bhagat Singh, censorship and changing of history has gone so down. I just went down the rabbit hole and I was reading. And do you know that there is no periodic table in children's textbooks now? There is no theory of evolution on children's textbooks now. Can you believe that, Mohit?
Wait, when did this start happening? Because I'm pretty sure I read, at least when I was in school, there was periodic table.
Over the last few years.
At this rate, I can't even, like, if I ever have children, which I'm like really contemplating, right? Like, because of the way the world is progressing. Even if I were to have children, would I want to send them to schools, right? That is one. And two is, even if I homeschool them, right, they might end up being really book smart, but where are they going to learn the street smarts, right? So that's like a very weird spot to be in, and that's all because of the way things are progressing, right? If the government wants to clamp down on everything, if the government wants to tell us what to watch, what to read, what to eat, everything, right? Like that's the way things are progressing. And I can understand, at least, see, look at China for that instance, right? It's a communist country.
Yeah.
They clamp down on everything. People have the China's social credit system, which went from payments to now tracking behavior.
Yeah.
But the trade-off for them is, which brings me back to my initial point, which is, are you ready to trade your privacy for a more convenient or for a life with a much better ease of access? But here in India, we're going the opposite way. Not only are we getting clamped down, not only are we getting breathed down our necks, but the quality of life is going to shit day by day, right? Bangalore pays the highest road tax in the country, and I can write and give it to you that Karnataka has the worst roads in the entire country. Yeah. Right? What's the logic here? I don't get it. You're taking so much money from us.
They want to fix 1,000 potholes with 1,100 crores.
Before getting, this is the fun fact, okay? This is something that a lot of people don't know about me. Before I got into Web3 and crypto, I graduated with a degree in civil engineering.
Okay.
Right? It does not take so much money to fix potholes.
I mean, you don't need to be a civil engineer to understand that it requires a few things which will not cost you 1 crore to fix a damn pothole, to be honest. And even if the intention is noble, the implementation can easily spiral. Once these pipelines exist, it's only a matter of time before they're used for purposes beyond their original scope. What policy folks call function creep. Have you seen examples in India or abroad, where surveillance infrastructure meant for one purpose has quietly expanded into another. You were just talking about China, right?
Yeah. See, let's leave China out of this. We're in India right now.
Yeah, let's talk about
Aadhaar, Aadhaar itself was initially meant for subsidy, right? It was never meant to be the national identification for a person. It was never supposed to be our social credit score or anything like that. Right now, it's used for everything. If you want to buy a new SIM card, if you want to go open a new bank account, any KYC mandatorily starts with Aadhaar. Right? Imagine starting off from being used for subsidy, right? And subsidy is not something that everybody of different echelons of society need, right? Subsidy is meant for people it's like a double whammy. They started it off with something else, and now it's completely evolved into the national identification. Again, the NSO Pegasus software, right? The spyware. It was built for something completely different, but at the end of the day, it was used to surveil against journalists and activists, right?
Exactly.
And then again, see, China's social credit system might just be a double-edged sword, if you ask me, because their quality of life is great, right? Their quality of life is fantastic. Healthcare is on point, infrastructure is on point, everything. I don't think, at least in my opinion, because of everything I've read or heard about what's happening in China, things are good for them, right? Like, people aren't necessarily having to go on shit roads, right? The food there is good, the quality of life there is good, right? Apart
the quality
from that,
of life is great, the infrastructure is great, the educational systems are teaching, kids more forward things like AI or blockchain.
So even TikTok for that matter, TikTok all around the world, I'm pretty sure most of you all know about this, which is TikTok around the world, shows you just things you want to see, like entertainment, brain rot, very end-to-end things on the spectrum. However, from what I know, TikTok in China specifically shows things that will help, I wouldn't say brainwash, but subconsciously help the countrymen progress. They show education, they show technology, they show progress, right? It's two completely different sides of the same coin. While the rest of the world is binging on things that can probably slow down the progress, China is doing the complete opposite, which is like they're showing things to their countrymen that will help aid with their progress.
I think in that sense, I think it's great that they banned, it's my personal opinion, that they banned TikTok in India, because the brain rot on that was absolute nonsense.
I mean, I beg to differ on that. I still see brain rot on Instagram. I still see brain rot on YouTube.
Instagram has become the new TikTok for me, because Instagram used to have a pretty decent feed before, but after they banned TikTok, Instagram has a lot of that brain rot coming in.
Exactly. See, we can clearly see that India's approach to blanket banning things do not work, right? They blanket ban PUBG because everyone's addicted to it, but they Battlegrounds Mobile India, which is the same. Right? They banned TikTok, but Instagram turned out to be the outlet for the same brain rot.
Yeah, and they have something else, right? For TikTok, is it Tuk or something else? It's called the Indian version.
Nobody really uses all of that, right?
Yeah.
And now again, if you're going to ban crypto at the end of the day, there will definitely be some other outlet that's going to backfire on you, and you just won't know how to control it. Because right now you can't do anything to control BGMI. You can't do anything to control Instagram, right? People's livelihoods are on it.
Yeah.
Right? People are making a living putting out content. People are making a living showcasing who they are, their lifestyles, storytelling. There are so many different things. Social media, right now, if you ask me, has overtaken what TVs or channels used to be back in the day, right? Advertisements, everything. See, the entire landscape is pivoting to more attention-based content, right? Even advertisements are being scripted. Like very recently, I saw an advertisement on a TV. I'm not sure if it was a YouTube ad or whatever, but all I could take away from it was how the entire premise was more of a short form video than an advertisement by itself, right? Yeah. That's because everyone's consuming short form content at such a massive rate, right? Like I'm pretty sure, like even when, see, if you were to watch a long form video, right, say it's 12 to 15 minutes long, you'd watch that video for 12 to 15 minutes, and then you'd be like, okay, I got the information I need, now I'm out. However, if you start doom scrolling or binging on short form, firstly, because of how short these videos are, you have no track of how many videos you watch.
Yeah.
You might just end up binging for 1 hour instead of 15 minutes. And to top it off, you won't even be able to remember which was the last, like the third or fourth last video you watched.
Yeah. So just for our viewers, I have an app which restricts whatever, Instagram, Facebook, etc. There is a timer and it locks me out for the entire 24 hours after I'm done with say half an hour of social media. So
I use this. It's called Opal.
Opal, is it?
And the best part about Opal is, if I go into deep focus mode, I can't even delete the app if I want. Until and unless the timer. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's available for Android.
No, it's not. It's an Apple exclusive. So until the timer runs out, I cannot even delete the app. Say I've blocked out Instagram and there's something really important going on it. Until and unless the timer ends, I'm at its mercy. So I just got to wait.
So the one that I use is Minimalist Phone Launcher.
Oh yes, I know about that.
It's brilliant. So let's talk about de-anonymization in Web3. There's still this idea that blockchain equals privacy, but with chain analysis and KYC exchanges, how anonymous are we really anymore? Over to you, Mohit.
See, this is the fun part, right? Again, coming back to what anonymity really means in Web3. Anonymity, until and unless I know that a certain wallet is your wallet, you're technically still anonymous, right? You can keep all your assets bundled up in one wallet or even spread it across different wallets, but there will always be a paper trail, right? So the second, that's the double-edged sword about crypto, right? Until and unless you have initiated your first ever transaction via a peer-to-peer exchange, right? Like say you have already got Bitcoin and kept it with you, and I have bought that Bitcoin from you and kept it in my hardware wallet, which is not linked to any exchange or which has not been KYC. I am still anonymous, right? Nobody will still know whose wallet this is, right? But now if I need to cash that thing out, if I need to cash my Bitcoin out into fiat, the only way that is possible is if I show who I am.
Exactly.
Right? At the same time, when we talk about exchanges and how they cluster wallet addresses and they basically link behavior with wallets associated with certain identities, if you ask me, that is a really good practice to have, because in most cases, very recently I got scammed for around 300 SOL, right? Back in February, which is a lot of money, right? And unfortunately, I know, which is, I don't know, for us about a little over 50 odd lakhs. Right? So my biggest mistake when Ledger came out, when there was a public statement stating that Ledger saves all of our seed phrases, right? Like they've kept our seed phrases backed up on the cloud, if I'm not wrong. So I immediately was taken aback and I unlinked my Ledger from my Phantom wallets. And I just kept procrastinating on finding the next best hardware wallet. And it was too late for me by then. Even though I had split all of my holdings into multiple different wallets.
Sorry to hear about this.
Being in crypto for 7 years, I cannot even point my fingers at anyone. I know I am completely liable for it. That's why it's called a non-custodial wallet. I am completely liable for this mistake. I am pretty sure I got brute forced and not scammed by a phishing link, because one, I know I can see a phishing link when I see it. Two,
exactly.
All of my wallets were interlinked to each other because of the same seed phrase, right? So whoever this person was has either brute forced themselves into my seed phrase, or it could be somebody I know, which I'm not sure who it is, because I keep my seed phrases written down in a book, which is kept very, very safe, right? So coming back to this, once I lost that money, I'm really good at data analytics, especially in Web3, right? I was tracking him with every step he was making up until the time he got onto an exchange which did not have KYC compliance for him to be able to take out that money.
Yeah, plus they have mixers also, so it's really difficult.
This guy was not, because this was on Sol, we use something like the equivalent to this is Tornado Cash. So equivalent on Sol was, I think, Ghosty Cash or something. I'm not sure what it was. But at least for this guy, he didn't even bother, right? He didn't even bother having to fix it because he just went on an exchange that didn't need KYC and he got all of it out.
Damn.
Right? So
Really sad.
again,
But on that front, again, I just feel like everybody keeps making the same mistakes. You need to have hardware wallets, and your seed phrase is the most important thing that you need to keep away from everyone's eyes. Because if the seed phrase is there, you can generate your private key using something known as a BIP tool. So it's by Coleman or somebody like that. I can send you a link. So once identity leaks even once, the entire transaction history becomes an open record. What are the real world consequences of that exposure? And also the question becomes, can we build systems that protect privacy selectively so that verification doesn't require full exposure?
So I think one of the first consequences to this would be, how wallets get blacklisted, right? Even without any due processes.
Yeah.
I've seen certain times when I was supposed to get a certain airdrop, right? They just flagged me as a farmer for absolutely no apparent reason, even though I don't have the time to sit and farm. Why would I sit and farm airdrop just to speculatively get a certain amount of money that could speculatively change my life?
Yeah.
Right? So I have friends who are serial airdrop farmers. Like, in crypto, their entire agenda is to go on different protocols, try out the protocols, make transactions, bridge, do this, do that. And I would always tell them, what are you going to do when this airdrop bubble pops? Because airdrops are great right now, but I don't remember getting a 4 or 5 figure airdrop in the last 1.5, 2 years.
Yeah, I think it has.
Close to 6 figures airdrops as well.
Yeah.
Right? So this is what Web3 companies are doing to safeguard their distribution processes.
Yeah.
Imagine how the same process can be, if by any chance, or not if, when blockchain does become a part of national or international identification, right? How sure are you that this is not going to happen there as well? Right? How sure are you that your identification number is not going to be blacklisted in the same way without any due diligence, right? And now, you brought up Tornado Cash earlier, right? People are still going to do that. People are still going to find ways and means to bypass all of this. Right? What about the people who don't know about it? What about the layman who does not know what is required to safeguard himself from processes like this? Right? And finally, which is if you ask me, is the most important thing. Say, like the quote, once bitten, twice shy, right? If something like this happens to you, how sure are you that you won't participate in it again? If your entire financial history can be revealed with one leak, you are not necessarily building freedom, right? Like, it's just basically a different form of feudalism.
Oh, I completely agree with you there. And we still don't know who Satoshi is, so who knows what might happen.
I mean, this was a conspiracy theory that I had devised years ago, which is he's somebody from the government itself. We don't know which government. Lately, there have been speculations that it is nothing but the CIA. They're basically built a digital asset that they can use to wipe out as much of debt as they can for their country.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. See, even if it is, I don't care. It's revolutionary technology.
Yeah.
Right? It is revolutionary technology. It is something that cannot be hacked. It is something that cannot be changed. Right? It's going to stay the same. Whatever was built in 2009 will stay the same. Right? The technology will advance. Right? We'll have different consensus mechanisms being built on it. Right? All of these things will change. But the premise, the core principle of what Bitcoin stands for will always remain the same. And my only concern is at the rate at which quantum computing is going, at the rate at which quantum technology is improving, how sure are you that quantum computing cannot really break the cryptography behind Bitcoin, right?
It's not about like how or, it's just a question about when it's going to happen, I'm sure people are already running it, so...
Yeah, it's definitely happening, right? So I remember seeing something that Google built very recently, where the way it quantum computes is that I'm not sure. Like I don't want to talk about things I'm not really confident about, but something along the lines of it taking some anecdotes from the multiversal theory and splitting up its computation into all these parallel timelines, getting answers from all of those possibilities and coding it into the current existing module.
Yeah.
Right?
So Microsoft actually launched the chip. It's based on qubits now. So
yes.
It's called qubits, where one bit can be in two positions at the same time, 0 and 1.
Yes.
Which is quantum. So like you said, even I don't know much about it. I'm sure not many people know much about it either to talk about it deeply or in depth. So let's leave it at that. So now segment 4, privacy, technologies and innovation. Let's talk about solutions. Zero knowledge proofs, selective disclosure credentials, encrypted oracles. All of these promise privacy without breaking transparency. Which of these technologies excite you the most, Mohit?
If you ask me right now, especially when we're talking about zero knowledge, right? Zero knowledge snarks and zero knowledge starks are the ones that excite me the most, because it's allowing us to verify or authorize without necessarily revealing any data.
Yeah.
Right? It's used in Zcash, it's used in Polygon ZK EVMs, Aztec. Countless other coming Web3 or layer 2 solutions are using ZKs at the moment. At the same time, when we're talking about decentralized identity,
Algorand,
exactly, yeah.
The inventor of zero knowledge proof,
Yeah.
I think her name is Steffi. She's part of Algorand. You know, one of the scientists who invented zero knowledge or discovered zero knowledge proofs on the Algorand team, by the way.
Oh man, I did not know this.
It's crazy.
Okay, this is interesting. I'll have a look at this once I'm done with this podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, you were talking about XDC and about how we have brought in these technologies, right? So inside the XDC ecosystem, we're seeing this layered approach already with XDC private smart contracts. We have Impel's encrypted messaging layer. We have our very own TradeFinex's confidential document modules. We have BlockScan ID and XDC DID for decentralized identity. We also have plugin oracles, encrypted feeds, and also experimental privacy frameworks like Privix. So it's privacy as architecture, not as a patch. How critical do you think that philosophy is for Web3's next phase, Mohit?
Again, when you say that you're treating privacy more as architecture and not a feature, I strongly believe that this is the mindset that people in Web3 should have, right? Like if you're an enterprise building on Web3, or if you're just a consumer who's exploring or utilizing Web3 for that matter, this is the mindset that you need to embrace, right?
Exactly.
Things aren't going to change. Like you will always be at the borderline between privacy and public, right?
Yeah.
That is what Web3 offers to you. What you do with it is completely on you. If you get scared and back away, that's on you. If you embrace it, the technology is going to keep progressing, and so are you. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm almost like 40 years old and I have to embrace AI. If I don't adapt, I'm going to be doing nothing. So
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about policy, governance, and the future. On that note, let's circle back to governance. If you were to outline a set of digital rights, principles that policymakers should adopt before implementing any kind of mass data program, what would those be?
And when we're talking about privacy frameworks, especially for policy, first things first, it should have warrant-based access, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there should be no blanket surveillance as they're planning to do right now, right? And like whatever data you're collecting, it should be to a minimal, right? Like you should collect whatever data is absolutely necessary.
Exactly.
Right? You can't just collect all sorts of data from us just because you can, right? And at the same time, time-bound retention, right? Even if you have collected this data from us, it should be with you only for a certain period of time. And even if you are taking our personal data, it should be burned as soon as its use case is done, right? Finally, user-controlled credentials, right? If you're talking about decentralized IDs for that matter,
Yeah.
They should be reusable, verifiable claims.
Yeah.
And open algorithms, maybe, I'm not too sure about this one, but if there are systems that are making decisions about humans, it should be auditable, right? And now if we're looking at India, right, look at how DigiLocker is working, look at Aadhaar, look at ONDC, UPI, all of these, they respect user consent, right? At the same time, they promote ethical data market.
No, I mean, UPI used to respect data and privacy, but now not so much. Out of personal experience, let me tell you, it not so much.
And in what sense? Like, what experience did you face that?
For example, I make a transaction of say 25,000 rupees to my fiance, and I get a call saying, "Did you make this transaction? We are confirming this with you." And then sometimes they just freeze your account if there's a transaction. For example, I took a loan from a bank, which is Jupiter Bank, right? The money hit my account and they froze my account saying that where are these funds coming from? I'm like, you guys, I've taken a loan from you guys and that is the source of funds. Now it's been 3 months and I still don't have access to those funds.
I mean, were there any crypto-based transactions done on that same
account?
No,
it was just a loan that I took from them, and because it was...
You took a loan from
their
bank account, they only banned.
They froze my accounts, bro. They froze my accounts. I will publicly say this. Do not deal with Jupiter or Federal Bank.
I was going to open an account in Federal Bank.
Please don't. Please don't. I vouch for State Bank of India. They're the best. So, and specifically for India, where public infrastructure is scaling so rapidly, what does a privacy conscious framework look like to you?
See, again, when I spoke about DigiLocker, when I spoke about UPI, Aadhaar, ONDC, see, all of these, I mean, you said UPI doesn't really respect user consent, but most others actually do respect the user consent. And now when we're talking about ethical data markets for that matter, right, we should be able to profit only when we choose to share data. Right. And when I say profit, I'm not necessarily talking monetarily. I'm talking about like any kind of gain for us. Right. Only when exactly, convenience. So everything boils down to my question, which is how ready are you to give up your privacy for the sake of convenience?
Yeah.
Right. So again, privacy is not necessarily anti-national. I would say it's nothing but the bedrock of our digital democracy. It's as simple as that.
I just think if these rules are being implemented, they need to be implemented across the board, not just for the citizens, but even for the politicians, our contractors, and everyone running the country, including the judiciary, so that, things are out there and the lawmakers can actually hold people accountable for what they do. And when I mean hold them accountable for good things that they do and the bad things that they do,
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the vision, a nation that innovates responsibly and not reactively. So before we close, a quick lightning round. So first question, one privacy tool every Web3 user should adopt today.
Probably a non-custodial wallet with the functionality of having Tor or VPN routing, right? So that you never have to reuse the same wallet address ever again.
Okay.
And I'm not going to reveal which one. I think it's the viewers' thing to do a due diligence on it. And
this is not advice. This is just a conversation between two friends. This is not advice that we're giving out to the world. So please don't do anything taking things from our conversation. Right, Mohit?
Yeah, NFA-DYOR.
So, the biggest myth regulators believe about privacy tech.
I love this one. So, it's that privacy tech is only used for criminals, right? Privacy is used for the citizens, right? And the surveillance is for the suspects. It's as simple as that. And now to top it off, right? When we do move towards blockchain being used in day-to-day life, look at medical records for that matter, right?
Yeah.
You can't expect to have medical records on a public blockchain, right?
Obviously.
You can't have everyone having access to your medical record.
Yeah.
That has to be on a private blockchain. It cannot be on a public blockchain.
Yeah.
right? So privacy is not for criminals, it's for the citizen, right? That is where surveillance comes into mind.
Okay. Third one thing you tell young developers building the next generation of apps or dApps. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. I feel they should start building applications where the user gets to own their data, right? Because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, right? So if you are going to be someone who's giving the netizens or people who are pivoting to tech the access or the ability to own their own data, then you're already winning.
Great. So, Mohit, thank you for a deeply thoughtful conversation. What stands out today is that privacy isn't an obstacle to progress, it's the foundation for trust. For our listeners, remember, when privacy is treated as something to hide, freedom becomes conditional. This has been the XDC India Podcast. I'm Kishan Balaji. Until next time, stay informed, stay private, and stay empowered. Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you, Kishan, for having me. It was a lovely chat.